Erica gazed spellbound at her reflection in the mirror. In its mysterious depths, there was a girl of fairy tale beauty, as if descended from the paintings of the old masters. She had tender porcelain skin, huge blue eyes, framed by pointed lashes that had never known cosmetics, pouty lips of perfect shape, high breasts, a slim waist, and a cloud of pristine white lace. How she dreamed of having it all: a wedding dress worthy of a princess, a veil with a modest strand of natural pearls, and a ring are every girl's dream, no matter how independent they pretend to be. However, Erica had no idea how much her engagement ring with diamonds might cost, as she had never worn such jewellery before. Her fiancé, Oscar, could easily afford such a luxurious ring and much more. He could afford anything he wanted, like choosing Erica, the most ordinary girl from a humble family with a very average income, out of hundreds of more suitable options. Surely such adulterous relationships were not approved of in his circle. However, Oscar Hurst didn't give a damn about anyone's opinion but his own. He took whatever he wanted, ignoring obstacles, let alone someone's opinion. Erica looked at herself in the mirror once again and imagined Oscar's imposing figure next to her. A balding, perhaps excessively full 40-year-old man. He looked even older than his years. However, it didn't matter to her. But what power and what force emanated from him. What a reliable hand he had. No, he was not a prince. He was a king. Erica adjusted her hair, admired her reflection, and pondered, remembering from the very beginning the story of her acquaintance with this incomprehensible and even frightening man. She didn't want to go to the restaurant with the girls back then. She resisted as much as she could, but her friend stated that she would be greatly offended if Erica didn't immediately go to celebrate her birthday. Erica didn't like such amusements. Restaurants and clubs were definitely not her thing, and Chris wouldn't approve of it either. "So are you coming with us?" Mimi clarified. "Okay, I'll go, but I don't even know what to wear," said Erica. "Do you want me to lend you that cornflower blue dress?" Mimi was delighted. Erica thought for a moment. Mimi did have a stunning dress in a wonderful shade that matched her eyes perfectly. Although it was short and quite revealing a dress, it was a birthday party, and she wouldn't even dance. She would just sit at the table. "Okay," she gave in, and her friend squealed with joy. But the closer the evening got, the less Erica wanted to go to the restaurant. Some premonition wouldn't let her rest. Besides, she didn't tell her boyfriend Chris where she was going, just wrote that they would be celebrating Mimi's birthday. However, time inexorably approached the appointed hour, and Erica, waving her doubts aside, put on that very dress, high-heeled shoes, and added a silver chain. She was amazed at how beautiful she looked at that moment. Spinning around the room, Erica daydreamed. It would be great if Chris saw her like this. However, she had enough sense to realize that her boyfriend would immediately start asking if they were having a bachelorette party, if the dress was not too revealing, and so on and so forth. "I won't answer to anyone," the girl suddenly got offended. "When I become his wife, then let him tell me what to wear. And even then, I think, if I should listen to him, I'm a free person. I don't need to follow any domestic rules." And, proudly raising her nose, she went to the restaurant. The girls were already waiting at the entrance. Soon they were already sitting in a cozy corner, fenced off from the common space. The girls settled on comfortable sofas and excitedly chatted, exchanging impressions. Mimi looked simply gorgeous in a new, tight-fitting dress that emphasized her excellent figure. It felt like she was in her element here. Visits to restaurants were her usual thing. Triumphantly surveying the girls and accepting gifts and congratulations, Mimi ordered for everyone. Carefully sipping the wine from a tall glass, Erica finally allowed herself to relax and enjoy the delightful bouquet of an expensive drink, pleasant music, and the chic atmosphere. "I wish every evening could be spent like this," she thought, "or at least every weekend." She imagined entering a restaurant arm in arm with Chris, both dressed in luxurious suits. being greeted by an arrogant maître d'hôtel who would bow to them and guide them to the best seats. But it was just a dream. Once Chris finished his military service and found a good-paying job, they could go to restaurants and everything would be good. For now, she had to wait. Not much longer, though. Chris would be back in the spring, and maybe he would even propose. He had hinted at it a few times already. "Erica, what are you daydreaming about?" Mimi called out, bringing her back to reality. "You're not eating anything. Try it. It's really delicious." Erica, struggling to come back to reality, nodded and forked something incredibly tasty. "Everybody, stay where you are. This is the police." Suddenly a powerful voice rang out, and Erica almost choked. In front of them stood a real cop from an action movie, playing with handcuffs. The tall blonde, in a perfectly fitting uniform, looked over them and unexpectedly tossed the cap onto Mimi's lap. The girl squealed and clapped her hands. "Mimi, you said we'd just sit alone." Erica said it reproachfully, realizing who was in front of her. As if to confirm her hunch, the cop began unbuttoning his uniform. Following the cap, the holster flew to the ground. The guy moved gracefully to the music, gradually revealing his beautifully toned body. But suddenly, someone roared, "Get out of here!" Two drunk men with the appearance of typical thugs barged into their cozy room. Glancing at the shrinking girls, they laughed. "Hey girls, do you want to look at naked men? We'll give you a dance right now, and you don't have to pay. Instead, you can earn some." The unfortunate dancer, revealing a hefty kick, picked up his props and disappeared, glad he got off easy. The thugs, considering the matter settled, made their way to the table, forcing the girls to huddle together. "What are we celebrating, chicks?" one of them asked. "It's my birthday," Mimi timidly said. "Why so quiet, ladies?" The second one winked and tried to pinch the closest girl's breast. She yelped and blushed. The man laughed. "Well, let's drink to the birthday girl. Bring whiskey." The waiter quickly poured whiskey into the glasses at their command. "I don't drink whiskey," Erica said. She was terrified, but inside she was boiling with anger and resentment at the ruined celebration. "Brave girl, look at her," the first thug marvelled. "I love women with character. Don't worry, you'll drink with us." He brought the glass to the girl's lips. She clenched her lips and shook her head. "Drink when you're told to," the thug barked, pulling out his gun. The girl screamed, trembling with fear. "I won't," insisted Erica. "Leave the girl alone," a quiet voice rang out. Erica didn't even notice the two broad-shouldered men who suddenly appeared next to her. They exuded strength and confidence that made it clear they would be obeyed. "Get lost," the first thug began to bluster. However, the second one leaned in and whispered something in his ear. Erica only heard one word, or rather a last name, "Mr. Hurst." Before their eyes, the thug's face changed. Cursing under his breath, he put away his weapon, nodded to his friend, and they both quickly got up and disappeared. "You can continue to have fun. No one will disturb you," one of the men said calmly. However, the celebration was already ruined, and the girls gathered their things and left, without looking at each other. Erica made her way to the exit, weaving between tables when she was blocked. Looking up, Erica recognized one of the rescuers. "Dear lady," the man said politely, which didn't match his appearance as a typical gym rat, "I am authorized to deliver an invitation to you from a highly respected man who believes that he simply must make amends for the offense committed against you by that riffraff who doesn't belong to a decent restaurant." "Thank you, I'm fine. No need to make amends. Can I just go home?" Erica looked around, but her friends were already out of sight. She felt trapped. "Let me at least make sure you get home safely," the man said, not allowing her to object. He quietly paid something to the waiter and led Erica to the exit. A taxi appeared as if by magic. A minute later, the panting waiter handed Erica a huge bouquet of flowers. The bewildered girl accepted it and drove home. At the entrance, Erica saw the black car had pulled up not far from her and then immediately drove away. And she thought that she saw the same car in the parking lot of the restaurant. Or maybe it was just her imagination running wild. Only when she entered her apartment, closed the door, and leaned back against it to calm her wildly beating heart, did Erica feel a bit better. She put the flowers in a vase, admiring the beauty of the luxurious bouquet, and then Mimi called. "Erica, where did you go? We were worried." Mimi's voice was filled with genuine concern. "Sorry, Mimi, I was distracted. The man who spoke up for us walked me out and gave me the flowers. He apologized on behalf of some serious man," Erica said, thoughtfully looking at the bouquet. "On behalf of whom?" Mimi seemed to choke on the stupidity of her question. "Erica, did you fall off the moon? It's Mr. Hurst, the owner of the city, essentially. Everything is his, and that restaurant is his too." Mimi was bursting with excitement. Apparently the girl had already recovered from the scare, and now everything that had happened seemed to her like an interesting adventure. "Wait, you say he gave you flowers and apologized? Interesting. Why to you? It was actually my birthday." Erica felt envy in her friend's voice. "It's probably for all of us," she assured her friend. "I'll bring you a bouquet tomorrow, so you'll have one." "I already have one," Mimi burst out laughing. "I called my parents. They're organizing a family dinner. It won't be as fun without a cop, but there will definitely be gifts and flowers." "Happy birthday again." Erica put down her phone and went to make coffee. Looking at the foam rising in the pot, the girl sorted through the events of the evening, and with each passing minute, she became more anxious. How could she get involved in this story with the gangsters? Calming herself down, Erica wrote to Chris, "I love you. Good night." Let him read it and smile. Unfortunately, these 2 months can't pass quickly enough. When Chris returns, everything will change at once. Maybe even her last name. Coffee and a good book made the girl's evening so enjoyable that she gradually forgot about the unsuccessful trip to the restaurant, thinking that everything would end there. But she was wrong. Nothing ended because the next morning, a driver of a black SUV called out to her at the entrance. "Erica, good morning. I have an order to take you to your lessons and wherever you need to go. This is a gift from Mr. Hurst." "I'm sorry, I don't know how to address you," Erica began. "Stuart," the driver introduced himself. "So, Stuart," the girl continued, "please tell your Mr. Hurst that I appreciate his concern, but I don't need it at all. I'm fine, and no one is going to chase me." "Erica," Stuart shook his head with a smile, the way adults look at a foolish child, "understand 2 simple things. First, you can't know for sure that yesterday's thugs won't want to take revenge on one of you for the humiliation, and publicly at that. And secondly, it's not worth refusing gifts from my boss." It was said with such intonation that Erica flinched. What a mess. I believed that the story was over, she thought, and then raised her head high and got into the car. "Okay, I'm really rushing to get to the college. I would be grateful if you could give me a ride," she said in a queenly tone. Stuart, attentively waiting for her reaction, even whistled admiringly and raised his thumb. However, he behaved impeccably, not trying to talk or flirt in the car, and they arrived at the college in no time. "What time do classes end?" he asked when Erica got out of the car. "At 4, Erica quickly replied, trying to figure out how to escape from the intrusive service much earlier. "Don't do anything silly. I don't advise it," Stuart warned her, as if reading her thoughts. "Consider it friendly advice." For some reason, Erica's heart skipped a beat, even though he said it calmly and without any threats. During class, she couldn't concentrate on anything else. She kept looking at her watch, so the teacher even made a remark. An attentive Mimi wrote, "Problems?" "Everything's fine," Erica lied, deciding for herself whether to run away from Stuart or listen to him and be obedient. After all, he wasn't suggesting anything bad, at least not yet. However, the girl's freedom-loving nature rebelled against such arbitrariness. What's going on? She's not an object to be decided for. when she leaves class and how she gets home. It's her life. At 3 o'clock, as soon as classes ended, she quietly slipped out onto the street, mentally laughing at the intrusive bodyguard. "Did you get off early?" came the voice in her ear. Erica almost jumped and turned sharply. Stuart was standing 2 steps away from her, grinning. Without saying a word, the driver firmly grabbed her elbow and led her to the car. Erica jerked once, twice, in vain. Her hand was like in a steel trap. "I'll scream," she warned. Stuart smiled. "Well, scream, but I'm sure no one will help. So, are you going to scream or go home?" Against her will, Erica smiled. The man spoke in the same peaceful tone and didn't offer anything criminal. "Let's go home," she gave in finally. Stuart drove her to her destination in a few minutes, and when the girl got out, he started unloading bags from the trunk. Without any explanation, he headed towards Erica, who was surprised. She started thinking about how to manage not to let him into her apartment, but she immediately realized the futility of this idea. Stuart took off his shoes in the hallway and walked to the kitchen. Erica was unexpectedly ashamed of the meagerness of the environment in which she lived. However, the man remained silent, efficiently stuffing food into the refrigerator. "Why is this? No need," the girl weakly protested. "It's not my initiative. Mr. Hurst ordered to provide food," Stuart calmly replied. "I'll come by tomorrow morning." And again, wearing his fancy shoes, he finally disappeared behind the door. Erica sat down on a stool and stared at the fridge before pulling out her phone and typing "Mr. Hurst" into the search bar. A determined, self-assured face stared back at her. Though there wasn't much information, it became clear that he owned the city and was capable of buying anything his heart desired. "But he can't buy me." Erica stuck out her tongue at Mr. Hurst's photo, thinking before getting up and opening the fridge. Maybe I should throw his groceries out, she thought. However, the idea seemed too childish. The smell of everything inside was magnificent. After hesitating for another minute, Erica resolutely began to prepare herself a royal treat. This went on for a week. Stuart drove her to the college and back, periodically replenishing supplies. Once she returned home, Erica discovered that the dripping faucet had been replaced and a brand new mirror had appeared in the tiny bathroom. The girl was outraged and expressed her displeasure to Stuart the next morning. He listened with an unperturbed expression, then stopped the car and turned to her. "Erica," Stuart began in a peaceful tone, "understand one simple thing. You have caught the attention of a very influential person who knows what he wants and is used to getting it. Believe me, thousands of young girls would come running at the snap of his fingers. But right now, he's behaving like I've never seen him before in my memory. I don't know what it is, but you touched him somehow. So take friendly advice. Don't resist and enjoy the gifts." "Did anyone ask me?" Erica flared up. "I have a fiancé, by the way. He'll be back from the army soon and we'll get married." "And will you live impoverished like this?" Stuart shook his head. "Do you think your Chris can find a job in the city if Mr. Hurst doesn't want it?" "You've already found out all about me, haven't you?" Erica clenched her fists. Stuart nodded seriously and said, "Of course." Erica opened her mouth, then closed it. There was really nothing to say. "Erica, he's a good man," Stuart added after a pause. "Not a saint, of course. There are no saints where big money is involved. But in his own way, he's fair and extremely lonely. He lost his wife 10 years ago and hasn't had any serious relationships since. Only girls for the night." Erica shivered, realizing what Mr. Hurst wanted, and that the same fate could await her. "What happened to his wife?" she asked, not understanding why she was curious. "She died of cancer. They couldn't save her," Stuart replied shortly. "No amount of money helped. Since then, he closed himself off, went into business, has no children, and lives exclusively for himself." And what do I have to do with this? Erica protested. I was living quietly and would have continued to do so. I didn't ask to be rescued. Foolish, Stuart replied condescendingly. You have no idea what kind of thugs then came. Monsters with no morals whatsoever. Believe me, without our intervention, everything could have ended very, very badly. Does Mr. Hurst save everyone in a difficult situation? Erica asked angrily. No, of course not. But I know for sure that he noticed you in the first minute, and then he kept looking in your direction. Maybe not for me. Erica tried to resist. Mimi is much prettier and... At you. Don't doubt it. Stuart smiled. You stood out among the girls. You were awkward, constantly trying to fix your dress, and you have the most unusual eyes imaginable. Erica blushed at this unexpected admission. She still felt very uncomfortable. The most incredible plans were spinning in her head about how to get rid of Mr. Hurst's attention. Shall we go? Stuart suggested peacefully. Erica nodded. Don't plan anything for tomorrow, he added. You're invited to the theatre. The dress is ready, no refusal accepted. Now Erica flared up with indignation. I'm not a toy. Stuart shook his head. Have you read about the taming of the shrew? Erica nodded reluctantly. Well, that's the name of the play. Stuart smirked. Mr. Hurst is a man with a sense of humour. I'm sure you'll appreciate it. Finally alone, Erica fell onto the bed with resignation. What to do? Leave the city? Write to Chris? Go to the police? Each option seemed worse than the other, so she did what any woman would do. She cried her heart out, washed her face, and tried on the dress Stuart had left. It fit her perfectly and made her look incredible. I'm going to the theatre, Erica declared to herself, her eyes sparkling. And I'm finally going to talk to Mr. Hurst. He needs to know that not everything in life can be bought and sold. The next evening, resolute and stunning in her evening gown, clutching her purse and walking in heels, Erica waited for Stuart. When he opened the car door for her, he whistled in admiration. It felt nice, even though she wouldn't admit it to herself. Her heart raced with anticipation. The entire ride, thinking about meeting the mysterious Mr. Hurst. But he has no right to care for me so well, to send me flowers and food. I should have refused from the start and set the record straight. Although, such attention is rather flattering, she thought. Anyway, it will all be resolved tonight. I'll explain to this man that I have a fiancé and that I'm responsible for my own life. That's it. Mr. Hurst won't kill me for saying no, will he? Just then the car stopped, the door opened, and Erica was enveloped in the magical fragrance of expensive cologne. Someone took her hand and helped her out. In the next moment, she was face to face with the very same Oscar Hurst she had been rehearsing to talk to. Good evening, Erica. You're enchanting. I am immensely grateful you accepted my invitation. His voice was warm and velvety, and he still held her hand. Erica silently studied Mr. Hurst. She couldn't find the words. In his presence, she felt almost hypnotized. He wasn't at all like his photo on the internet. Taller, less gruff, though prone to being overweight. However, his chiseled muscles were visible even under his perfectly tailored suit. The two of them stood, sizing each other up like dueling opponents. Mr. Hurst, thinking Erica was nervous and scared, spoke again. Erica, you're trembling all over. Am I really that intimidating to you? I don't understand. All the harsh words she had come up with vanished. He suppressed her with his strengths of will and self-confidence. And now, Erica was indeed trembling like a schoolgirl before the principal. Why you? Why me? Mr. Hurst smiled. His face, cold and arrogant until now, has transformed in the most incredible way. You caught my eye back at the restaurant. You don't even realize how much you stood out from the crowd, despite the dress that was a little uncomfortable. And you didn't want to be in that restaurant at all, did you? You don't go to places like that often. Erica nodded, feeling like a rabbit in front of a snake. You piqued my interest, and of course I couldn't allow you to be mistreated in my restaurant, Mr. Hurst continued, his tone soft. Your restaurant? Erica raised her head, deciding to go on the offensive. Everything here is yours, isn't it? And you've decided. Don't say unnecessary words, Mr. Hurst warned, gesturing with his palm. Yes, it's true that I control a lot in this city and have many possessions, but that doesn't mean I'm trying to buy your attention or pressure you. The theatre invitation is an opportunity for a personal introduction. Do you like Shakespeare? Yes, I do. And you? Erica asked challengingly. Oscar shrugged. I do too. I've read the complete works and seen productions in various well-known theatres, not just domestic ones. If you like, you can quiz me. He smiled, looking at Erica. The play turned out to be magnificent. Erica laughed until tears streamed down her face at the witty lines. Finally, she was able to relax and immerse herself in the magical world of the theatre. Besides, watching the performance from the VIP box was undoubtedly more pleasant than looking at the action behind the heads of other viewers. They brought them champagne, fruit and candy. The girl enjoyed the feeling of comfort from Oscar's remarks, which were always appropriate and extremely elegant. All the negativity she had felt all week disappeared, and she became herself again, cheerful, open and trusting. They watched the play in one breath. When the actors came out and bowed to the applause of the audience, they were given luxurious bouquets. Glancing out of the corner of her eye at Oscar Hurst, Erica realized that these signs of attention were more from him. For some reason, it made her very pleased, as if she had received the flowers herself. As if reading her thoughts, a bouquet was brought to the box. This is for you, Erica, for a wonderful evening you gave me. Believe me, I haven't relaxed like this in a long time, Oscar said before she could object. Leaning over, he respectfully kissed her hand. Erica flared up, her mind racing. What would happen next? He would surely demand a continuation now, wouldn't he? And again, she was wrong, because Oscar escorted her to the car and, thanking her, left her. Well, did he eat you alive? Stuart quipped good-naturedly. Erica absent-mindedly shook her head, looking out the window. Yes, she was expecting something else, something more frightening and intrusive, and Mr. Hurst turned out to be a normal man, educated and courteous. And yes, she was very calm and comfortable around him. Erica forbade herself to think about it. She went to the theatre once and that's enough. The next time, she would tell him everything. So you're sure there will be a next time? She caught herself. Stuart watched her through the mirror, not pressing her with questions, apparently understanding the girl's emotional turmoil. When she got home, Erica decided to call Chris, but their conversation left a strange impression. Chris seemed angry, talked reluctantly, didn't ask how she was doing, and she so wanted affectionate words, proof of his love. After hanging up, Erica burst into tears. Why was that? Why did Chris act like that when she needed his help so much? And what if later, after the wedding, some misunderstandings arose? Did she rush into tying herself to this handsome but sometimes incomprehensible guy? Especially since he didn't even offer her anything yet. And then the mobile rang again. Erica grabbed the phone, confident that Chris realized he had offended her with his inattention and was calling back. However, the number was unfamiliar. Hesitating, she accepted the video call. Oscar was looking at her, trembled, almost dropping the phone. I'm sorry. I thought you seemed sad, and I decided to make sure everything was okay. Apparently my intuition did not fail me, he said. Erica was silent, tears streaming down her cheeks. Erica, do you like motorcycles? Oscar asked. The question was so unexpected that she nodded. Then change into jeans and a jacket and come down, her interlocutor said, in a tone that brooked no objections, and then disconnected. Erica sighed. However, she was curious about what he had planned. She quickly changed clothes and went downstairs. At the end of the street, the sound of a powerful engine could be heard, and it was approaching. A minute later, a motorcyclist pulled up next to her. It was Oscar Hurst, and he handed her a second helmet. "Get on." She put on the helmet, fastened the strap, and got on behind him. After hesitating for a moment, she wrapped her arms around the motorcyclist's waist, and they took off. Erica felt a sense of horror at first, which was immediately replaced by the delight of the reliable machine's speed and something else that made her heart beat sweetly. They raced through the city, passing rare cars, then left its limits and continued on, so that the asphalt merged into a single continuous line. Erica was screaming something. Oscar was answering her with equally joyful shouts, and they both probably looked like two crazy people who had decided to end their lives this way. However, it was just the opposite. She had never felt so alive, and she really wanted this flight to never end. The asphalt was replaced by a bumpy road, and the driver slowed down, and then the motorcycle took them to the river, wide and unhurried. Oscar turned off the engine and leaned on his foot, giving Erica the opportunity to get off the bike, and they sat together for a long time and were silent. There was only the sky, the river, and they, pensive, who until recently knew nothing about each other. Feeling Erica starting to freeze, Oscar hugged her, warming her with his warmth. She didn't push him away, she just froze, listening to her own feelings. Half an hour later, Oscar reluctantly took his arm away, got up, and extended his hand to her. And then there was the ride again. Only now something else warm was mixed with the delight. "Now I see you're all right," Oscar said to her on parting. "Don't cry anymore, or I won't be able to sleep." And then he got on his magnificent bike and left, and Erica stood for another minute, watching him leave. And this is the same scary Oscar Hurst, without bodyguards, in jeans and a jacket. This is the one she recently hugged, hiding from the wind behind his broad back. "I'm a traitor," Erica said sadly to herself, climbing the stairs because she definitely couldn't tell Chris about this. At home, she took a photo of her and Chris standing with their arms around each other. When he went to the army, Erica printed this photo and put it in a frame. It made it easier for her. She even talked to Chris, addressing this portrait. What happened to them? Why did he change so much and become so cold? Of course, the army is not a sports camp, it's hard work. But why doesn't he understand that she also finds it difficult and very lonely without him? She fell asleep under these thoughts, and she dreamed of a ribbon of highway rushing under the wheels, wind, and a river carrying away all her sorrows. In the morning, Stuart didn't ask any questions, just snorted, evaluating her rested appearance and shining eyes. In the evening, he picked her up, and they chatted a little on the way. Nothing special. Weather, politics, favourite movie. Erica caught herself thinking that she was starting to get used to having her driver and bodyguard in one bottle. She didn't answer the girls' questions, but they noticed that the same car was coming for her. Only Mimi seemed to understand what was going on, and she was clearly envious. Well, Erica didn't have time for parties anyway. She started preparing for exams. And she was also waiting for Oscar Hurst's next move. It happened at another premiere where they went together. The play was, so to speak, for the chosen ones. The production was in French, and in some places, seeing that his companion was struggling to remember, Mr. Hurst whispered the lines of the characters in her ear. There was nothing showy about it, and Erica quickly stopped being embarrassed. And during the intermission, he took her hand and asked, "Erica, will you marry me?" The girl froze, opening and closing her mouth. So unexpected was that question. Seeing her confusion, Oscar smiled. Perhaps everything was supposed to be different. An evening by candlelight, flowers, a ring in a champagne glass, and me kneeling, he said. Erica shook her head, trying to gather her scattered thoughts. "But I don't like to look ridiculous," the man continued, gasping, kneeling suitors. That's the stuff of vaudeville. Besides, my knee is bad. There's a prosthesis there as a reminder of the past. So I decided to simply ask if you would be willing to be with me. I understand that I'm much older than you. However, I can promise that I can make you happy. Erica shook her head, the words coming out with difficulty. I can't. I'm waiting for my fiancé from the army. Has he proposed to you? Have you said yes? Are you engaged? Oscar quickly asked. Erica didn't want to lie, so she just shook her head. She and Chris never made plans for their future. She decided for both of them that it would be that way. And Chris was becoming increasingly less responsive, dismissing her with brief statements. He was acting extremely strange. As she tried to ask questions, he would just disconnect. What if he had found another girl there? So, I have a chance, Oscar concluded correctly, interpreting her silence. And believe me, I will make the most of it. The same evening, Erica called Chris again. Chris, my dear, talk to me. Explain. What's happening? She said on the phone, but it remained silent. In utter desperation, the girl even called Chris's mother, a number he left for her just in case. But even that extreme measure didn't bring any clarity. Erica, I don't understand either, Mrs. Cumming cried over the phone. It's as if someone switched our boy. He used to be so kind and affectionate. And now he just dismisses me with brief phrases and hangs up. Time went by. Stuart continued to take Erica to and from the college, occasionally replenishing the supplies in the fridge. Chris had stopped writing altogether and stopped answering calls. A month passed, then another. Calling Chris's mother, Erica heard that Chris had decided to stay in the military on contract. Mrs. Cumming wept so much that it was difficult for Erica to calm her down. Looking at the photo of Chris that captured them together, the girl took it out of the frame and put it in an album. Life went on, and it was her life, which she wouldn't allow anyone to break, especially since she didn't feel abandoned anymore. Oscar continued to court her, but he did it unobtrusively and tried to please her with little things. And they had already gone on 2 night rides on a motorcycle. Erica found him less repulsive now. Besides, she noticed envy in women's eyes more than once. They couldn't understand how this girl managed to snag such a solid cat. And Oscar Hurst himself became interested in a provincial girl. They appeared together more and more often, visiting exhibitions, theatres and fashionable movie premieres. Erica got used to this life, which she had only seen in movies before. It was easy and safe for her to be next to this introverted person, clothed in immense power, but never demonstrating it to her. And then came the evening when Stuart, after the theatre, brought them not to Erica's home, but to a luxurious mansion in a prestigious area of the city. I'm inviting you to have coffee with me, Oscar replied to her unspoken question. I won't hide it. Yes, I'm hoping for the evening to continue, but it all depends on you. If you don't want to stay, Stuart will take you home. But I'm asking you to look at my bachelor pad. Inside the bachelor pad was a dream home, thought out to the smallest detail. There was no feeling of museum-like or pretentiousness. It really was a home designed for its inhabitants to enjoy life. Erica was particularly thrilled with the fireplace, already lit and filling the house with warmth. After following her gaze, Oscar nodded at the armchair opposite the fireplace. Erica settled in comfortably, stretching her legs towards the fire. Oscar brought coffee, fruits and sweets, sat on the floor covered with a fluffy rug, and carefully took off Erica's shoes. What are you doing? She exclaimed. However, he was massaging her feet with a calm demeanour. Erica purred with pleasure. She was filled with true bliss. She wanted Oscar to keep going. Her body, which had not yet known the touch of a man for so long, trembled with hidden desire. Everything will be as you wish, he said quietly, continuing his activity. I really want you. You know that. But I'll stop if you say no. Yes, Erica whispered. Everything that happened afterward surpassed her wildest dreams. Oscar knew how to be both passionate and gentle. Erica, he whispered softly, looking into her eyes, which glowed with the pleasure she had just experienced. I'll repeat my proposal. Marry me. You see, we are absolutely perfect for each other. And she replied, yes. What followed was like a fairy tale. They could have gotten married the same day, but Erica asked for at least a week to prepare. She didn't want to have a bachelorette party. She knew the girls would envy her, and she wanted that less than anything. She just wanted to gather her thoughts, say goodbye to her old life, visit her parents, and so on. Upon hearing the news, her mother threw up her hands. My dear, how can this be? He's a gangster. Everyone knows it. Mum, that's nonsense. If he's rich, does that automatically make him a gangster? Erica reassured her. Her usually taciturn father asked only, will you regret it later? I don't know, Dad, Erica honestly admitted. He does everything for me, protects me like a treasure. But does he love you? Her father persisted. Erica was silent. They never used that word in their conversations. What about Chris? Her mother couldn't help but ask. He doesn't call all right, Erica honestly admitted. The parents looked at each other and sighed. Okay, dear, you're an adult. You have your head on your shoulders, her father pronounced. No advice will help except one. Use your head and listen to your heart. Erica returned to the city with mixed feelings. A worm of doubt continued to gnaw at her from the inside, but she dismissed it, deciding it was normal. Everything will be fine. She will become Erica Hurst. Her husband will cherish and pamper her, and as for Chris, what could she do? He was and is gone. It's not the first time she's been dumped, after all. The day of the celebration arrived so quickly that she barely had time to catch her breath. Just yesterday she was studying and taking exams, and now she stood in front of the mirror, wearing a veil and a white dress, looking like a fairy tale princess. She looked in the mirror, but saw her future life, beautiful and secure. Oscar loves her, and he's not that much older, and he looks impressive. Messages and phone calls poured in like a horn of plenty. Erica had no idea she had so many friends and acquaintances who wanted to congratulate her on the celebration. When she was a poor and modest Erica, she had far fewer friends. Erica had already decided to turn off her mobile phone when her gaze unexpectedly fell on a message that had appeared on the screen. It was Chris's mother. Her heart fluttered like a caught bird, and the girl read, Erica, Chris is wounded, he's dying. Without knowing what she was doing, Erica dialed the number. What happened? Where is he? The woman sobbed as she spoke, saying that her son had stayed in the military after his service, wanting to earn money for an apartment and provide a carefree life for him and Erica. He was sent to a hotspot. There was no way to call or write from there, and the young man didn't want to worry his family, and now something terrible had happened. Erica stared at the silent phone for a long time, and then, without realizing what she was doing, she took off her wedding dress, threw her veil on the chair, changed into jeans and a sweater, grabbed her purse and headed for the exit. Everything that followed felt like a dream. She realized she was already on the train. She didn't even remember buying the ticket or what she had said. Her phone was left there, next to the dress she never got to try on. With them, she was leaving her whole past life, already realizing that there would be no turning back. She walked quickly down the white hospital corridor, looking at the room numbers. It seems to be here. Please, God, just let him be alive, and then I'll manage to pull him through, even if it's from the other world. I'll be with him day and night, and then he will recover. He will definitely recover, and everything will be fine. He will understand and forgive. Seeing the correct room number, Erica opened the door of the ward and immediately closed it, seeing a scene of the most intimate nature. A slender nurse in a white dress was leaning over the hospital bed. She looked with her back to Erica, but she understood that the nurse was kissing a man lying on the bed. Erica looked at the room number again. Everything was correct. Hesitating, the girl looked into the ward again and said, "Excuse me, I was told that Chris Cumming is in this ward." The nurse straightened up sharply, passed by her with an independent look, and a surprised voice came from the bed. "Erica, how did you get here?" "Are you alive? Your mother called and said you were dying." "It's a mistake. Another fighter, namesake, received a serious wound. I also caught a bullet, but got off easily. I'm recovering." "I see that you are recovering." Chris turned away, was silent, and then attacked. "Are you talking about Marina? Do you condemn her?" "Not you. But she took care of me like a child. Maybe that's why I got better. And what did you think, that men live like monks in the war? We walk on the edge every day, while you are enjoying life on the civilian side. You yourself, I'm certain, are not a saint. Why do you hide your eyes? Did you cheat on me?" Erica looked at him with all her eyes. This was some other Chris, completely unfamiliar, angry, unpleasant. "Yes," she answered, "I cheated on you. I was even going to get married today." And then she turned and ran away, swallowing the tears of hurt and disappointment. The door slammed behind her, cutting off another possibility of her fate that had not come true. Erica returned to the station, sat on a bench, and looked straight ahead. There was not a single thought in her head. She couldn't go back. She was painfully ashamed of Oscar, whom she left on her wedding day just like that, without explanation. To her parents? They would accept her, of course, but they would regret and torment her with moralizing. And she was already sick to the extreme. "I'm sorry. Give me some money to buy bread, please," a quiet voice said nearby. A hunched elderly woman looked at her. She was certainly worse off than Erica was. Erica was young, healthy, and could somehow work out her life. But who would help this poor elderly woman? Without looking, Erica put her hand in her purse and took out several bills, handing them to the elderly woman. "Take it, Grandma, bless you." "Thank you, dear, and may God give you health and a good, affectionate husband," the elderly woman said. Unable to hold back, Erica burst into tears. The beggar, surprised, sat down next to her and began to stroke the crying girl's head, saying something comforting. "Cry, cry, baby. Tears cleanse the heart. You won't believe me now, but your happiness is not far away. It will find you, don't doubt it. Fate will give you a sign soon. Don't miss it." Erica cried, not listening to the exhorting words. She didn't even notice that the old woman had got up and limped away, and when she raised her head, her trace had disappeared. "Erica, how did you get here?" A voice came from above her ear. The girl looked up and gasped. "Grace, what are you doing here?" "I came to visit my aunt," the former classmate laughed. They only had studied together for a year before the cheerful and mischievous girl, who came from the north for education, decided that studying for years was not for her, and quickly got married. They hadn't seen each other since, but Erica recognized her immediately. She was still lively and cheerful, but she had blossomed, becoming more beautiful, and clearly did not need financial assistance. Grace was examining Erica with the same attentive gaze. "Did you cry? Tell me what happened," Grace declared in a tone that brooked no objection. It was clear that the girl was used to giving orders. After a couple of seconds of hesitation, Erica decided to tell her former classmate her whole story. "Well, you're something," Grace whistled, "like straight out of a movie. I thought that only happened in books. Maybe you'll go back to your Oscar and he'll forgive you." "It's shameful," Erica admitted, then remembering how cold Oscar's eyes sometimes became, how determined he was in his actions, she bowed her head. "No, he won't forgive me." "So you're ready to go anywhere?" Grace squinted at her. "Well, there's no work in your field for me, but will you work as a maid? My husband and I have our own hotel. Things are going well. I'll provide you with housing and restaurant meals. Decide, are you coming?" "I'm coming," Erica said. The events were unfolding with the speed of released springs, and now she really didn't care where to go. All she wanted was to get away from two men who, as she thought, loved her and whom she loved. Erica, who grew up in a conventional town and then plunged headlong into the chaos and crazy rhythm of the metropolis, had already forgotten how friendly relationships between people can be and how slow-paced life can be. Of course, she was distressed about how she would be welcomed and how she would settle in a new place. But it turned out that all her fears were unfounded. Diego, Grace's husband, a huge, ruddy man with a rumbling bass and thunderous laughter, hugged the girl from the doorstep and said, "Welcome to us. Nobody will hurt you here, and if anybody looks at you askance, just tell me, and I'll sort it out right away." Erica quickly got to know the hotel staff, and her duties turned out to be straightforward, and the guests were reasonable. And she immediately liked Grace's mother, Mrs. Almario, who lived with them, though in a separate wing. The woman, who adored books, immediately began to invite Erica to tea, to chat about novelties, discuss movies, and generally talk about life. Gradually, the emotional storms subsided, and Erica notified her parents from her new phone that everything was fine, strictly prohibiting anyone from giving out her number. With Diego's help, who used his connections, she was even able to take an academic leave from the college, which made her happy. After all, she still hoped to finish her education, but later. And now she just had to live, study, smile, and not constantly reproach herself. Moreover, Grace and Diego didn't leave her alone, invited her out, took on the picnics to the neighbouring city and to the shops. After a month, Erica felt that she had known all these wonderful people for a long time, and the work did not burden her, but even pleased her. "We'll find you another groom, Erica," Diego joked, and Grace rebuked him. "What are you bothering her for? Let the girl forget about how she ran away from the wedding and lost two men at once." Erica was not offended, realizing that Grace's husband secretly cared for her. Diego's character was simple. It was hard for a woman to be alone, so she had to help her find a worthy man. To the guests, mostly men sent to the wilderness on business, the pretty blue-eyed maid was very likable. However, they did not bother her, as if she carried some trace of past offence or disappointment prohibiting closeness. "Diego, I haven't met anyone like you yet, and I don't need anyone worse," Erica said with a smile. Diego straightened his already broad shoulders and triumphantly looked at his wife. "You see, Grace, what kind of husband you got." Grace, barely reaching Diego's shoulder, stood on tiptoe, messed up his hair and kissed him loudly. Watching them, Erica envied them a little. They seemed such a good match, living happily and simply, unlike her. But it's true that they say you shouldn't complain about fate. Everything can become much worse. Erica understood this on one not very beautiful morning when she suddenly felt a sharp attack of nausea. "Why is that?" she asked herself, and then a sudden thought made her gasp, clenching her mouth with her palm. "It can't be! Or can it?" She flared up, remembering the details of the one evening she spent in bed with Oscar. However, the next morning, everything repeated itself. Seeing the pale Erica, Grace took her aside and asked bluntly, "What's going on?" Erica did not hide her fears, and Grace loudly whistled. "You're really lucky. Go to the clinic, let them check you out." Soon the doctor finally confirmed Erica's worst fear. She was pregnant. "Do you want to get rid of it, or do you want to give birth?" the doctor asked bluntly. Grace, who had stuck with Erica and even went to the doctor's office, answered for her shocked friend. "Of course, we will give birth. Write her something so she won't feel nauseous, various vitamins, and then we'll figure out how we'll raise the baby. By the way, my mother helped me take care of my two boys. Now she's always talking about the third. Come on, Erica, let's make her happy with your baby. Or she'll make us all mad with her boiling energy," offered Grace, who deep down was afraid that Erica would decide otherwise. Grace already had 2 boys, who looked alike and like their father, now tall, strong, moderately mischievous, and very friendly. The parents were incredibly proud of them, and everyone who worked at the hotel spoiled them at every opportunity. Erica often admired the boys, thinking that one day her son and daughter would also run around happily, stick their curious noses everywhere, and not be afraid of anything. Now the life of the little one she had imagined so many times was at stake, and Erica decided, following Grace, "I will give birth. I will definitely give birth." It seems that after the difficult decision was made, fate took pity on Erica. The toxemia stopped as suddenly as it had started. The hotel staff, apparently with the intervention of the owner, surrounded Erica with care. She was not allowed to lift anything heavy, rest time increased, and the number of vegetables and fruits in her diet sharply increased. They encouraged her and jokingly teased her about her gradually rounding belly. Even the birth went smoothly, without any complications. Erica smiled at her baby and whispered, "Hello, Billy. Don't be afraid. Mum will always be with you. And together we will cope with everything. Right? Your happiness." Erica smiled in the ward, feeling an incredible inner calm and confidence that everything would be all right. At home she was greeted with joy and celebration. She had long since moved into one of the cozy cottages Diego had built over the years through his hard work. Diego had long dreamed of expanding his business and was currently considering an offer to join a large hotel chain as a partner. Erica was not forgotten either. At a family council it was decided that once she had recovered from childbirth, she would take on the role of administrator. Her education and experience qualified her for the job. Days filled with joy and happiness went by. The baby turned out to be calm, ate well, didn't cry too much, and let his mother sleep at night. So Erica had plenty of time to work for a few hours, welcoming guests whose flow never stopped, regardless of the season. One day, Diego said seriously, "Erica, you bring us luck, no doubt. Things are going so well that I'm afraid to jinx it. Sometimes it just seems like the men are coming to see us just to look into your blue eyes." Erica laughed, but there was some truth in the joke. Men of all ages always looked at her with pleasure. She was invited to dinner more than once. Twice she was offered marriage straight away. She politely declined, citing the need to take care of her son. It wasn't that she had given up on love. No, it was just that the memory of her double loss was still too fresh. She forgave Chris for the fact that he had exchanged her love for the first girl who showed him signs of attention. Becoming a mother changed her from within. She became more sensitive and forgiving. The only person Erica never forgave was herself. She understood how unfairly she had treated Oscar, how much pain she had caused him. If she had her old phone, she would have tried to explain herself, but fate decided otherwise. He still appeared in her dreams, though. The dream where they both rode motorcycles and she hid from the wind behind his broad back was especially frequent, and she always woke up with the smell of a leather jacket and tears on her cheeks. One day, Diego announced, "We should prepare a guest house, heat up the bath, and offer some fancy treats there. Girls, take care of it and I'll meet the guests." "Is an inspector coming?" Grace snickered. "Take it up a notch," Diego joked. "It looks like the owner himself is coming to visit us." "Are they really taking us under their wing?" Grace gasped. "I think so, otherwise the owner wouldn't have come. All right, girls, make sure everything is top-notch. They'll be here soon." Erica was infected with the couple's joy. The merger had been discussed for a long time, with high hopes and excellent prospects. As she understood from the conversations, the prospective partner already had a well-established hotel business. Now he was interested in remote regions. The bet was placed on ecology and proximity to nature. Tired of the smog and constant rush of city life, urbanites could enjoy a pleasant stay there. And the future partner, according to Diego, turned out to be a decent man. He could have simply crushed them in a competitive struggle and then bought them out for nothing. But no, he called them for a partner and listened to Diego's opinion. So Erica already liked the future partner in absentia, though she didn't bother to find out who this unknown benefactor was. Leaving Billy under Mrs. Almario's care, Erica happily joined the preparations, and when a black car pulled up to the house, escorted by Diego's jeep, she had everything ready. But she herself was not ready for one thing: that Oscar Hurst would get out of the car. Erica was frantically searching for a place to hide, her face flushed and her heart pounding wildly. It couldn't be him, it just couldn't be. But it was him, thinner and lost in thought, but it was definitely him. Erica ran to Mrs. Almario's wing, threw open the doors and rushed towards the bewildered woman. "Mrs. Almario, help me! I need to leave right now!" "What's happened?" Grace's mother stroked her shoulders, trying to calm her down. Through tears, Erica told her what had happened. "Stop immediately! You'll wake Billy!" the usually soft and kind woman ordered, and Erica fell silent. "I believe this is a sign from above," Mrs. Almario declared. "You need to talk. Besides, he needs to know he's a father. You don't have the right to keep this from him." Erica looked at her in disbelief. Mrs. Almario sadly smiled. "Do you think you'll always be able to handle everything on your own? Believe me, loneliness is a curse. I know that well. And it will be bitter for your son to grow up without a father. Ask your heart, do you have the right to decide for all three of you?" the woman continued. Erica trembled. "What should I do?" she asked plaintively. "Wait until the men are done with their business," Mrs. Almario advised. "The guest won't leave right away. You know Diego won't let him go without a bath and a treat. And then seize the moment and don't hesitate. Otherwise you'll regret it for the rest of your life." They were not allowed to finish their conversation when there was a cautious knock on the door. Erica pleaded with Mrs. Almario with her eyes, so she nodded, indicated that she would handle it herself, and left. Erica listened to the voices sinking into her chair, and then the door opened again, and Stuart walked into the house with a protesting Mrs. Almario. He hadn't changed at all, and the same elusive smile played on his face. "Hello, Erica," he said. "Hello, Stuart," Erica whispered. Then she raised her tearful eyes to him and asked quietly, "Does Oscar know I'm here?" "No," Stuart said, surprising her with his answer, and he turned to a stunned Mrs. Almario. "I know Erica well enough and her ability to slip away. Don't worry. No one wishes her harm. Quite the opposite." "And how?" Erica began, and then fell silent. "Do you want to ask why we're here?" Stuart guessed. "Oscar is closing a deal that's beneficial for both parties. Of course, I had to steer him a little towards searching for a partner, but it's actually an excellent solution. Now you have to decide, and believe me, I won't let my friend's heart be hurt again." Stuart's face became cold and serious. Erica saw him like that for the first time. "So you have two choices," he continued. "If you say that it's all over between you two, and I've been searching for you all this time for nothing, I won't say anything to Oscar and we'll leave. Of course, you'll have to move too, so that you don't accidentally run into each other in the future. I promise to help you with that. If you love him, go and tell him. Otherwise, you'll be the biggest fool in the world, and I've seen many of them." Erica covered her eyes with her hands. How could this be happening? She had already resigned herself to living for her son, and now fate had shuffled the cards again. Stuart had found her. He was worried not about his boss, but about an old friend. He was worried because of her. She could feel that. And then there was crying behind the wall. Stuart raised his eyebrows in surprise and looked at Erica demandingly. "I have to go. Billy woke up," she explained, and went to her son. "Billy? How is that possible? What's going on?" repeated Stuart, puzzled. He didn't know about the child. Closing the door, Erica heard Mrs. Almario's voice. "Sit down already. I have hot tea. I'll tell you what I know." Erica fed her son, rocking him in her arms. Conflicting emotions overwhelmed her. One part of her wanted to hide, while the other mentally flew to Oscar. Once again, fate intervened during events. The phone rang and Diego's cheerful voice ordered, "Erica, come to us. I'll introduce you to a wonderful man." The girl opened the door with such difficulty as if it weighed a whole ton. If it weren't for Stuart walking next to her, she would have surely fainted from excitement. Voices fell silent and several pairs of eyes stared at her. "And this is Erica, our friend and wonderful administrator," Diego began and stuttered at the sight of Oscar slowly rising from the table. Oscar looked at Erica. She had enough strength not to look away. The pause dragged on. "Hey, what's going on?" Diego asked. "Do you know each other?" "They know each other," Stuart replied, "and they need to talk alone right now." Left alone with Oscar, Erica shrank into a lump. What could she say to the man she ruthlessly left and betrayed? Yet she mustered up the courage to exhale one single word. His name. Oscar. He fell silent, and Erica decided to look up. This stern, experienced man who had seen so much in life was crying, tears streaming down his cheeks as he stared at her without looking away. And then they talked, interrupting each other, rushing to tell each other how they had lived all this time and why they only met now. Erica couldn't believe her ears. He knew why and to whom she ran away on her wedding day, and he took it for granted. He decided he was too old for her and simply wished her happiness. He loved her so much that he let her go. And that was the most incredible thing. She told how she thought Chris was dying and what she had seen at the hospital. She told about how she regretted her own actions 1,000 times and how she decided it was her punishment for betrayal. They talked as if they had been silent for 1,000 years and couldn't cross the line to embrace each other. And then the door opened and hungry Billy cried in the silence. Stuart held him carefully and awkwardly as men do. "Well, Billy, maybe you can explain to your foolish parents that it's time for them to kiss and start all over again." When Oscar took his son into his arms, it seemed to Erica that the house became brighter because Oscar's eyes shone with genuine happiness. They had their wedding right there. Luckily, there were excellent restaurants and a banquet hall nearby. Erica looked simply stunning. She sat next to her husband and felt good and calm, like she did on the motorcycle, behind the reliable, mighty back of her beloved man.